The term Africa, where does that come from?
You know what? That's a good question. And one of the things we always call ourselves and claim something, we never know what the hell we talking about. We just call ourselves stuff just because we think it's popular. Check out where the name Africa comes from.
The Roman province of Africa was established after the Romans defeated Carthage in the Third Punic War. It roughly comprised the territory of present-day Tunisia, northeastern Algeria, and the Mediterranean coast of modern-day western Libya along the Syrtis Minor. The Arabs later named roughly the same region as the original province, Ifriqiya, or rendering of Africa. The origin of the term Africa is not a name indigenous people picked for themselves. It's a term given by the Judeo-Christian, Nazi German arm of the Roman Catholic Church after they conquered those lands. But how did they come upon the term Africa? The land was named after the Roman general who defeated Hannibal in that Third Punic War, Publius Cornelius Scipio Africanus. So the people who call themselves Africans are letting you know this is their origin, and this is who they pledge their allegiance to, the general god Africanus. If you look around America, you'll notice most of the counties, rivers, mountains, and lakes were named in the very same fashion. Europeans coming over, destroying your accomplishments, and renaming them after themselves. The two most popular names, Washington and Jefferson.
So the ones that are calling themselves African Americans, they're calling themselves conquered people of the Roman general Africanus. It's a name that we didn't even come up with. Now these are important terms that we have to understand. We just can't keep calling ourselves these names and terms, and other people know what they mean, but we don't know what they mean. And so when we call ourselves that, we're putting ourselves at risk because we're letting other people know we're coming under this name. And when we call ourselves that, they take advantage of it.
The word black. What do you mean by the? What's your definition? What do you mean by black?
Again, you have to look these terms up and look at the origin of these terms. The word black just basically means blotted out, bleached out. And when we call ourselves Black Americans, we're, in essence, what we're saying is we're blocked out Americans. And we're calling ourselves that. And this is the reason why the education is so pertinent. When you let other people educate you, they're going to educate your children to serve them. And this is what we didn't get during the Civil Rights Movement. We thought the Civil Rights, we were trying to be equal with people. And you're never going to be equal with them. You have to compete against them. And at this time and space in history now, we don't want to compete with nobody. We just want to get along with everybody. And you see what's happening to our communities.
So you're saying we have to change our whole educational system for our people in order for them to get on the right track? I mean, what are you trying to say?
The education system in America is garbage. If you don't know that by now, you're dumb. The education system in America is garbage. Anybody who has a brain knows that.
Well, bottom line is, there's people that are mixed with different races, black and white, and where do these people stand on the fence? You know, how do they define who they are as an American?
They find their bloodlines. Most of them aren't Americans. Most of them are coming from somewhere else. Most of what we do is we like to claim white heritage from some white man somewhere. If you just looked about a year ago, Muhammad Ali went over to look for his Irish roots. Amari Stoudemire, the basketball player, went over to Israel to look for his Jewish roots. Are you serious? Now these entertainers and athletes, they're the ones who got most of us thinking like this, because whatever they do, since white folks love them, we're going to follow what they do. And many of them are twisted.
So you're saying Michael Jackson is not the greatest entertainer of all time?
He may be the baddest entertainer, but you see what he did to himself. He basically killed himself. Yeah, I know he was murdered. Of course, he was murdered. But he put himself in a position to be put to sleep and woken up. What kind of shit is that? And look at what he did to himself. And you remember with Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5 when you were a little boy. The girls loved them. all the boys wanted to be them, the brothers. It was 5 brothers, 5, 6 brothers, and they were a group, and they made one badass sound. And this dude grew up and turned himself into, I don't know what that was, but it was horrible. It has to be one of the saddest stories ever in American history.
So what do you have to say to the people in Africa who are watching this video and are questioning you on who are you and what would you have to say to those people in that country?
Many of them probably already know, because many of those people that come from Africa, what we call Africa, they don't call themselves African. They call themselves the bloodline of where they from. They call themselves where they from and who are they, their bloodlines. Like they'll call themselves Ghanaian. No, you can let it roll. They call themselves Ghanaians. They call themselves Nigerians, Kenyans. They call themselves their names. They call themselves their bloodline names. Many of them don't call themselves African because many people know what that term means. It's just that the African American doesn't know the African American doesn't know what that term means. So the term African means conquered people. When we call ourselves African Americans, basically we're saying we're conquered Americans. If you're telling the world that you're conquered Americans, they're going to treat you like what? Conquered people. And that's what we're seeing now. Laws and none of that civil rights movement have came to pass. Yeah, you can go. The only people say, I can go wherever I want to go now. They know they can't. It's like you saying, coming to this park. Your mother was saying, we coming to this park. They don't want us down there. What? They're the foreigners. They're from England, Ireland, Scottish, France, and they come over here and make you feel like you don't belong here. And that's exactly where we are now.
So what do you have to say to all the Europeans that probably won't agree with what you're saying?
They won't agree, but they know. They're living comfortable over here. They know. They listen to what they say when they talk about America. They weren't living like this in England. They came over here and found a gold mine. Your gold mine took it from you, and they still enjoying it. And they ain't giving you nothing, because you don't claim it. You claim in Africa, you claim in all kind of crap that isn't you. So when you claim that, and other people are coming to claim your stuff, and they're getting it. And you let them know it's okay by calling yourself an African.
Is there any way? Is there any way that we can reverse this systematic process of doom?
Yeah, connect back to the land. Once you get back on the land, the magic, you're gonna work the magic. You just cut off from the land. You in these cities, you in these schools, you don't know, you're cut off from nature. You know nothing about nature. Not every single one, I'm not saying that. But the vast majority of our people that's living in these cities are artificial constructs, and they were made to make the European money. They're not made to make you money. That's why you don't make none. Most black businesses, their own people don't support them. This is reality. So the European already knows what's up. He's over here living large, and he's want to continue to live large. And the way he's going to continue to live large is that you're stupid about who you are. And they've done very well in keeping that going.
Hurricane Katrina should have reminded the African American his status in the Republic. It didn't. The Gulf oil spill is a continuation of Hurricane Katrina to displace the indigenous people of the South yet again.